Okay, hello, this is Mr. Boyer. So today's learning target is 0973201, and it says to explain that the probability of a chance event is a number between 0 and 1 that expresses the likelihood of the event occurring. And what this means is the probability of a chance event is between 0 and 1. What does that mean? So if I say something has a 0 probability, what does that exactly mean? And that we're going to learn that in this topic. And what does it mean if I say the probability of something happening is 1? And is that 1% or is that 100%? So we will figure that out in just a second. So first of all, let's go over what probability means. So probability, this is how you do your Cornell notes, by the way. Term over here, sum over here, is the chance of an event, event happening. Any kind of event, that's what the probability is. Just the chance of something happening. Let's go over what likelihood is. Likelihood. It is the state or fact of something being likely. That just means, is it likely? Or the amount of the state or fact of something being likely. Just, is it likely? Could it actually happen? And let's see here. Let's go back to probability real quick. So, probability, I'm going to say the formula here. And we write probability like this. We make a P because us math people, we're lazy. We don't want to say probability every time. So we're just going to make this cute little P right here. I said make a cute little P. Okay, anyways, we're going to say a probability of any event, anything you want, is equal to, there's a whole bunch of ways you can write it, but I like to say favorable, hopefully I spelled that right, favorable, favorable outcomes over the number of possible, that's an F, possible outcomes. An outcome is just what happens. So let's give an example of this. Let me do it in a different color just so it's cute. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, look at this pen. That is awful. I don't even know if this is going to write. Hey, it does. Okay, so let's say, here's my example. Boop. You roll a dice. Roll a die. That's how you say one dice. So here's a die. How many total number of possible outcomes are there on a dice? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's the total possible outcomes. So 6. But let's say I want the probability, so P, of rolling an even. Well, how many evens are there on this dice? There's 6, 1, 2, 3. There is 3. Or I could have wrote over here 3 out of 6. Let's just 3 out of 6. And what's the same as 3 out of 6? We got to reduce it. Always reduce. So that means 3 evens and 6 total. So that reduces to what, you might say? Yep, 1/2. Okay, but be careful, because in probability there are these things called biases. And woo-wee, let me tell you, if you get caught cheating on some of these things, like dice right here, some people, they weight a dice. You ever heard of a weighted dice? That means they put a little weight on it so it'll land on a certain number more than it will another number. So a bias means the E, that's an E, it's a beautiful E, and in one outcome over another. So, I'll give you an example here. Example, like a weighted die. A weighted die, or when people leave cards out of the deck. Those are examples of biases. It's not fair. A bias is not fair. Okay, let's see here. Let's zoom out. Here's a normal deck of cards. It's a gigantic one. I don't have small hands, I promise you. This is a giant deck of cards. So please, do not make fun of my hands. Alright, so how many cards are in a deck? Anyone know? Anyone know? You're correct. Yep, 52. Alright, and what are these little guys called? What are these called? What are these called? Clubs, yep. Spades. Ah, Joker, we don't need that. There's another spade. There's a heart. And, oh, heart. That's a heart. This is a diamond. Okay, so here we have our 4 suits. So we're going to be talking a lot about cards. These are called suits. Spades, clubs, diamonds, hearts. Suits. So how many, we know there's 52 cards in the deck, and we know there's 4 suits. How many numbers, how many cards are in each suit? Is there a 1? Are there any cards with the number 1 on it? No. No. That would be the ace. So there's an ace, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 6, and a 7, and an 8, and a 9, and a 10. Is there an 11? Nope. That's your jack. And then you have your queen, and then you have a king. So add all those cards up, and each suit has how many? Yes, you're correct. 13. All right. So what is the probability? Let's do another example here. What do I say? What is the probability? Another example. Let's do probability example. What is the probability of me pulling out a let's see here. Let's see, a 3. What's the probability of me drawing a 3? Well, here we have my deck of cards, and I just want, how many total outcomes are there? How many total? How many total? There is 52. And how many 3s are there? Is there just 1 3? No, there's 3 in each suit. So there's 4 suits. So 4 out of 52. And if I wanted to reduce that, I could. Or I could just say, hey, Mr. Boyer, I'm going to do it even easier. There's 13 cards in the suit, right? Yep. So I'm going to start with 13. And how many 3s are there in one suit? 1. So that's what you get if you reduce it the hard way. But you can do it just by counting the ones in the suit instead of the whole deck. So what if I wanted one more example? Probability of a, oh, I don't know, let's say here, well, I don't know. I don't want to give you too much of a clue because these questions are right here. This should help you enough. So, just kidding. Hope that helped. See you later. And there's actually one more thing I forgot to tell you. So you can write a probability 3 ways. You can write it as 1/2. You can write it as 50% probabilities as percents or as decimals. So there's 3 ways to write probability. Let's see here if there's anything else that I need to go over. I think that's good. If you have any questions, just ask.